Hi, welcome back to my channel, y'all. And I hope you can hear me because the wind is winding. But today I want to talk about reverse culture shock. This is something that I've been dealing with. As most of you know, I lived in the countryside of Japan for about a year, and now I'm back stateside. I've been here for 2 months now, and the reality of the repatriation is setting in, and to be quite honest, it's spooky as hell. It's spooky as hell. Other than just feeling a little displaced because of, you know, being unemployed and trying to navigate this very weird job market, um, I feel that another part of reverse culture shock or repatriation, re-entry shock, whatever you want to call it, is just feeling very out of place in your own home. Like it's almost as if I was a square peg that fit into this square hole before I left America, I have now become a rounder peg that no longer fits into the square hole. And it's a very jarring experience, if I'm being honest. It's very jarring, and it's hard because there aren't many people to talk to about it unless you find another group of people who have also been abroad and then have repatriated. There's a feeling of alienation, like when I go to social gatherings, or I'm just even around a group of friends that I've known for years, I feel out of place. I feel like an outsider. And I feel like my social skills have changed too. Like I'm more quiet, I'm even more observant than I was before, just because, I was in the countryside and I was talking to people who were older, and people in my town were really, really shy. Like they weren't really outgoing people. So that's kind of rubbed off on me. So it's just been very awkward getting back to normal life. Now it's been hard to integrate my international experience um, with the life that I'm rebuilding here back home. And you may feel that when you come home and you just had this experience abroad, there's this feeling that like I could really do anything, because I just learned on my own how to be very emotionally independent, how to just figure life out. Like when you're out there, you just figure it out. And you don't even need to know that much to figure it out. That's the thing. So I'm at this point where I'm like, I feel you may feel like, I can do anything. Another thing I experienced, and this was a little shocking to me, was that when I went to go visit the places that I used to frequent, like the area where my old apartment was, the bar that I used to go to every week, sometimes multiple times a week, the people that I met there, the relationships that I built there, when I went back to that place, none of it felt the same. And I was trying to relate to it like I was the person that I was before I left. I was trying to relate to it from that place, and it just wasn't working. And it was very unsettling for me. Like I went into the bar and I looked around, and first of all I was like, who are all of these people? Because I didn't recognize most of them. Like, you frequent somewhere, you start to get to recognize the regulars, or people who come in. Didn't recognize anyone. I mean, the same bartenders were there, but they didn't really, like, they were busy. So, when I walked in, it wasn't like, hey, it was just kind of like they glanced at me and then moved on. I was just like, damn, nobody cares that I'm back. It was a very emotional experience for me, so much so that when I drove home that night, I was crying on my drive home, because that's just something I wasn't expecting, and something I wasn't prepared to deal with. And if you've recently come back home, you might find yourself in these situations that you used to do all the time, and now when you try to do them, it's like it doesn't fit anymore, it doesn't feel right. And you may get emotional, and I'm here to tell you that all of that is normal. Believe me, I spent hours on Reddit and on a Google searches trying to figure out what this is, and I'm realizing that all of it is normal. And you're just at a point where you're trying to reintegrate your experience in a way that makes sense. And segueing into this next topic is just socially, and this was a really hard pill for me to swallow, and it's still one that I'm trying to figure out how to work with. Is that you went abroad and you had this experience, this life-changing experience, whether it was positive or negative or both. It changed you. When you come home and you want to talk about it, I hate to say this, but not everybody is gonna want to hear about it. Maybe they don't want to hear about it, or they don't understand. And I'm here to tell you that you really need to figure out your outlet for how you're going to tell these stories of your experience abroad. Like, you got to do something. Like, like, write about it, journal about it, find international communities in your hometown or someplace near you. Make a YouTube video. Like, you have to find a way to get the stories out of you, because at least for me, I was finding that, okay, I can tell when I'm talking about something and somebody don't care. We can all tell. I was coming to a point where I was like, okay, well, I can't just not talk about it just because you don't want to listen to it. Somebody gonna listen to this. Someone's gonna listen to this. So I decided to start making these videos because I figured someone out there would listen. So if you're in the same predicament, I really, really recommend that you start doing the same thing, because it really, really helps. And when you watch it back or you read it back, it helps you make sense of your experience, which leads me to talk about the next thing, which I was not expecting this at all. When I came back and I started going through the motions of trying to reset up my life, like seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, eating the foods I haven't eaten, and just figuring out what I'm going to do about like income and all that stuff, it started to feel like the experience that I had for a whole year didn't happen. Like I would be, talking to my friends about it, and I would be like, it really feels like I didn't do that thing. And the only evidence I have of it is that I have the pictures. So when I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that. I was there. But things move so fast. When you move from one stage of your life to the next, it almost feels like it didn't happen, especially since there's no set reintegration process. It's not like you come in with a group of people and you all sit down and talk about your experience and like how you're feeling. Like, nope, you just get on the plane by yourself, go back home and figure it out. And at some point it starts to feel like, did that even happen? So to combat that kind of unsettling feeling, what I have started to do is, if I have my experience on my mind, or if there's someone from the town I was living in on my mind, I will just talk to them. I'll just message them, maybe send them some pictures of some interesting things that I found at home, or maybe even send them pictures of like Japanese food, like, hey, I'm eating Japanese food in America, like this is what it looks like here. Just simple little things like that will help you remember that, like, no, like, you did this, and you've made new relationships and new connections over there, and it doesn't mean that they have to fall away and you just act like they didn't happen. Like, no, they happened. So you can still foster them and take care of them and connect in that way. And it's a very grounding thing to do, at least for me, because I was starting to feel like, girl, did that even just happen? I hope that if you're going through repatriation or re-entry, I really hope that me talking about my experience eases any anxieties that you may have or any feelings of alienation that you feel, because it really is normal. And I really want you to take from this that like there are things that you can do about it, and that is it's gonna take time. You know, when I'm talking to people about how I'm feeling, most of them, well, good friends, people who are around you who are good to you, will tell you you've only been here such a short time. Like most of my friends will be like, you've only been here for 2 months. So keep that in mind. It's going to take time to find your groove, just like how it took time when you moved to your previous country. When you entered a new country, and you know how it took time for you to get used to everything. Like it took time for your emotions to level out. It took time for you to get used to shopping the grocery store. It took time for you to get used to the food. Surprisingly, that is exactly what's going to happen when you come home. It just looks a little bit different. So yeah, I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you want to talk about or share your experience with reverse culture shock, please leave a comment down below. And if you want to read a more coherent summary of what I've been talking about, definitely click on my WordPress link in the description box below, because I do talk about it there, but in a more concise way, because this is all over the place. But yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. If you like this video and you want to see me talk about more of this, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.